3. Okay, we are live. All right, let's try this out. Let me know how this sound is. Fix my hat here. Let's see. Let me know how the sound is, everybody. Let's take a look here, how we're looking. All right. All right, so, all right, everybody, let me know how how's the sound. Welcome in, those coming in. We're gonna have, like I said, people talking today in the subject at hand, and we're gonna have people from the group, those who have really been following the information that we post on our Facebook group, on our YouTube channel, and they have had similar results that we've had, meaning they had acquired vehicles, more than one, under the business name, no personal guarantee. So we're going to talk about that. I have, excuse me, I have someone from the group, Jay Reeves. He's been an active member of the group, and he has about 9 vehicles that he's gotten under his business name, no personal guarantee. So start to pull out your questions so we can start answering. And we're gonna have Jay Reeves. Again, he's got experience. He's got a few vehicles under his name. And why do I feel that my hat has a lot of things? Anyways, so he's got a lot of vehicles under his name. I think 9 vehicles. It's pretty awesome. Let me know, guys, if you hear how's the sound. Please let me know. Definitely appreciate that. All right, who is on? Let me see. How do I see the comments? Guys, I haven't done a live. It's so
Please let
long
me know.
that I'm just acting as a noob. All right, so Z Sabroka Frost, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. it's, it's not a it's not a it's not a green bed sheet, bro. Dang. It's an actual green screen. Thank you. Um, Jeez, Zagaber or Sadgabor. Oh my goodness, I'm so bad for names. I'm so sorry. Zabro. Oh, Sabroko. 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 All right, I hope I'm pronouncing it well. No, this guy, he made me laugh. It's actually not really green bed sheet. It's horrible. All right. So, all right. Let me see if I can bring. What are the requirements for both Bank of America and Ally? Durana, we're gonna dive right into the questions. Thank you for asking that. Um, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how I did it. When I was first approved by Ally, I got two cars, and you guys have seen my posts on the Facebook group. I got two Nissan Rogues, right? Um, when I first applied for business vehicles under my let's see, what is this, under my business. So give me 1 second. um, so I had two vehicles, right? Two Nissan Rogues. I cannot look now at my background without laughing about it. Thank you so much, Maiden. Look what you did. Now I cannot focus because you just. Let me see if I can build. There it is. I need a virtual background. Let's see if I can do this. For best performance, we recommend using a green screen. Yeah, I have a green screen already. Virtual background. Okay. Why is it not letting me? All right, let's see, guys. I'm trying to look at this. Wow, it even looks like it's mine. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty good. What do you think, guys? But I want to use really mine. Let me see if I can just drop it in here. Can I? Oh, dang. Doesn't let me upload mine. I think I'm wasting time with this. All right. All right, guys. Let's see. What do you guys think about the background? Bro, we we're killing the game with business credit because of you and other YouTubers, especially with the business gas cards. Big plus. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Maiden. Thank you, man. All right, let me go ahead and bring. I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna bring Jay Reeves. All right, let's see. So let's see. How do I crop out group shift group layout? All right, let me see if I can. Invite. Perfect. Okay. All right, I got it. Reeves, I got it. I think I got it. Perfect. So I'm bringing on Reeves right now so we can answer different questions, okay? Guys, if you can start for now, just pulling out your questions, right? Make sure that you have your questions out. We're gonna have a time to, get all the questions answered. What if? So make sure you have all your questions really, so we can go ahead and answer them. All right, let me see. Reeves has accepted. Better not get caught in in your wife's living room. She wouldn't tell you to go in the basement. I promise you, man. You crack me up, bro. All right, let's see if Reed's Jay is coming in. Also, there were other peoples in the. Hey, there is. Hey, brother, what's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
Oh, awesome, man. Awesome.
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Hey, man, fantastic. I'm just so grateful that you agreed to do this.
Absolutely. I love giving back, and I know you're real big on that. With the community you've built, and I see so much misinformation and stuff out there, and people trying to overcomplicate it. So, any chance I can to try to help out, I always try.
Yeah, and I like that because we're in the same page on that. I don't believe that we should keep information to ourselves just to try to make a buck out of it. Um, there are a lot of like mixed uh, perceptions in terms of like, oh, why would you do that yourself when you can pay a professional, you can have your time to yourself to focus on your business, and there's a lot of truth in that, but you just have to be careful who you're giving your money to help you. I'm telling you the truth, I can't charge anybody. I tried it, like I tried to charge people, but I just can't, man, because number one, people are difficult to follow directions, man.
Yep.
And then they want to come back and say that it wasn't their fault, it was your fault, you didn't deliver what you promised.
Yep. Because they won't follow action steps.
Right. Tell us a little bit about you, Jay, and how you come across the group.
Sure. So I'm located in Charlotte, North Carolina, on the East Coast. Was raised in Knoxville, Tennessee. Lived in North Carolina for probably about 12 years. I've been in the credit industry via the car business. So I was in the automotive industry for a while. Then came out and really got into like the credit business because I saw so many people coming in with a. For me, my biggest thing was seeing the disconnect between financial literacy, right? Like me growing up personally, I was always taught credit's bad because if you have credit, that means you're in debt to somebody and debt's bad. So, I had no real working knowledge of credit, and just seeing so many people like that come in day in and day out into the dealership, I was like, man, this is crazy. Like we're not setting people up for success. And so that's really when I got compelled to like become an expert in credit and really start reading laws, things like that. So that's how I segment it. And then I'm an entrepreneur by spirit. So I've got several different businesses up and running. And of course, the fastest way to grow or scale a business is through credit, which originally I was using personal credit for. And then I realized like, yo, business credit changes the game completely. And so then that's when I really got into like the business credit and realizing just how much more access to money your business can open up for you. And then with that, not affecting your personal credit, it's really when I was like, man, this is the game changer. And once I really learned that and mastered business credit, that's really what's changed everything as far as income, my family life, everything. And it's all financed through businesses.
Yeah, no, man, definitely. I hear that, and I relate with you on so many things that you said, especially being an entrepreneur at heart. Like, it's hard for me, and I've tried it, even doing businesses. And when businesses are bad, I've tried to go back to the workforce. Nothing against it, though. It's just for everybody's different, right? So, in my case, it's like I feel that trading my time for money, man, it's a waste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, I mean, my wife has a very good job and she makes good money, so she's not as entrepreneurial as I am. So everybody's different, but I relate with you, in the sense that I'm an entrepreneur by heart, man. I love creating businesses. I love helping people too. Um, I think there's a little bit of selfishness in that, like, I made it to a point in business and then I want to help somebody else. There's a little bit of selfishness on that because I want you to know what I've accomplished.
Yep.
and I want you to do it too because you can do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep. Absolutely.
it serves both ways, but also like you said, man, it changed my life when I started doing business credit. I mean, I got today, me and my wife, we have 13, 12 vehicles.
Yep.
Okay. That, we're renting all of those cars, and they're making a full-time income for us.
Yep.
And that's how I've leveraged business credit. Also, we had about 23 apartments that we were doing rental arbitrage, and
Heck yeah.
the market slowed down a little bit now because of summer here. But in your case, it's just everything under the business. I don't have. There's some of the cars that we did have to put our names. To be completely honest, but it's because of the number of cars that we already had under the business. When we went to get more cars, they said, you have a few liabilities. We're not gonna be able to give you more money,
Sure.
which is fine. And I could have waited like 4 months, 3 months, 6 months, and then reapply again. But yeah, tell us really, how many vehicles do you have? How many rounds do you do for loans, and where were you in business at that time when you applied?
Sure. So I've got some notes here. I'm gonna pull them up. So I've got two different LLCs. My first LLC, that one I opened up in 2019, and I've got 9 vehicles under that one LLC, and they're all completely no PG. Um, I've got a second entity where I've got 4 vehicles in it. The first one I use that for rental. The second one I partnered with Amazon, so I've got 4 rental vans, delivery vans, that are delivering Amazon packages on that second one. So the first one's really the one that is how I really learned. And being, like you said, being fully transparent, the first 2 cars that I ever financed in my business name, I actually PG'd on those two. But I PG'd on those two for a strategic reason. Because my philosophy, having background in the automotive industry, knowing what underwriters, things like that look for, I knew, cool, I'm going to PG on this one. I'm going to pay these cars off as fast as possible to show them, like, A, my business can make car payments. And then B, we just need the loans short term. So what
Yeah,
that does is you build that relationship up with them. So then when I go knocking for cars 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and above, it's like, well, hey, he pays his cars off really fast. So they're more willing to give you auto loans, specifically. So I've got it broken down here. So I've got 4 vehicles and most of what I'm talking about is only on that first entity. The second one's a little different with it being logistic. So I've got 4 through Ford and Lincoln. I've got 4 through Nissan, and then I've just started recently building a no PG relationship on the business side with GM Financial. The very first 2 that I ever bought were with Nissan, so that's how I began my business auto lending relationship, was with Nissan. I bought those 2. I think it was Nissan Rogues. Bought them the same day. I PG'd on both of those loans. They were both through Nissan Motor Acceptance Corporation, on the commercial side of them. I had those 2 paid off within, I want to say, 9 months, I believe it was, when I had those 2 paid off. Then once I paid those off, went back the next time, like, okay, cool, want to get some more vehicles. I don't want to PG this time. And so at first they told me, well, hey, there's no way to do that. You have to PG. You haven't had enough, history with us. And I'm like, no, that's not right at all. And so I like, hey, contact your commercial lending department. I want to talk to one of the senior underwriters. And at the dealership, even though, because I wasn't in the business anymore, they didn't let me directly talk to them, but I kind of knew things that needed to be said. I'm like, well, let them know, hey, I've paid you guys back. There's literally no payments ever been missed. Cars were paid off within a year. There's no reason I should have to PG. And so then what ends up happening is, instead of, like, the way I go buy cars now with Nissan is I actually have a line of credit with Nissan. So I've got up to $250,000 line of credit with Nissan. So whenever I need to buy vehicles, I can buy whatever it takes to get up to that 250,000. Once I hit another year in business, they're going to increase it another 250,000. But that's the relationship that I've built with Nissan. I've also done the same thing over at Ford. The difference is when I went over to Ford and started my relationship with Ford Motor Credit, I didn't do the PG thing at all because I'd already built up that business credit with Nissan. I had those auto loans with Nissan. So then I went over to Ford, and it was the same kind of situation that you hear all the time, which, I hate that people in the group have to deal with, but I see it all the time. Oh, I went into the dealership. They told me, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. You have to PG. You have to co-sign. And it's literally just a matter of talking to the right person. And if you go to a dealership and they're giving you one piece of advice I can give, and they're giving you pushback, even when you ask to speak to a finance manager, one thing to tell everybody: there are thousands of car dealerships in this country. Don't feel tied to one just because it's closest to you. If they're not giving you the right answers, find the next one. So what I end up doing is I go to the dealership that has the largest commercial department, and that's where I buy my cars from. Because I know when I go in there, they know when they hear, hey, I want to do it through my business, no PG. Cool. Hey, go speak to Stevie in the back. He handles all of our commercial lending. And I never have to go through that whole process.
Yeah. And what you said about people saying, "Oh no, they didn't want to give us no PG." And what happened with those people is that when they get the first no, they get desperate and disappointed, and then they say, "Can I personal guarantee it?" Because they
Yep.
want to come back to the group and they want to show that they were approved.
Yep. Exactly.
So a lot of people, they're not being really honest in the sense like, "Hey, listen." And they told me no. I pushed, then I spoke with the fleet manager and they were able to hook me up, and I got the vehicles with them, no PG. So that's one of the things that I've been trying to dismantle in the group, and it's this peer pressure. We don't need you to come in the group to show that you were approved. And that's why I implemented this rule. It's like, hey, if you don't say how you were approved, what stage your business was, and how many trade lands, then I'm going to decline the post, or I'm going to delete it.
Yep.
So I want the posts to be informative, encouraging. I don't need to know your successes if you're not going to tell me how you did it.
Share. Yeah.
When I went to a few dealerships, I went to Nissan, like you. My first try was Mercedes Benz. Of course, they denied me. And then I went to Nissan, and Mercedes was like, "Oh no, you have to have $5 million in revenue a year in order for you to be approved." I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Then I went to Nissan, and Nissan gave me three vehicles, three Nissan Rogues, gray, blue, and burgundy.
Yeah.
And I do have the burgundy outside right now. And the third, after I got the cars for like 2 months, and I even like made a lot of revenue on one of them, and the third one, and then they came back and say, "Hey, the bank didn't approve the third one. We'll have to personal guarantee." I'm like, "No, sorry, you can come and pick it up."
Yep.
But that, to be honest, that was so not only immature for me, but it was very ignorant.
Yep.
Had I PG'd it, I will still have it and probably increment that relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? Rather than being so proud and say, "No, I don't do PG." Which, if you've noticed, I've been a little more, relaxed about the PG thing, because there's no way that you can grow your business without personal guarantee. There's just no way.
Agreed.
So for you though, I'm very curious about, I don't see the questions that people are asking right now, but I would like to see some questions from the people online watching. And you mentioned something that really made me very curious. You say you got a line of credit with Nissan.
Yep.
Yeah, tell us a little bit, of the process for that. I mean, I understand that you said that you have built your business to a point that you can go to Nissan and say, "I need a line of credit."
Yep, absolutely. So as far as the line of credit, that's something that you have to be able to justify. So for the line of credit, they do ask for documents. So that's the disclaimer with that. They will 100% ask for financial docs of the business, which they want like the last 2 years tax returns. And they even asked for my personal tax returns. I ended up like not sending them my personal tax returns because I told them, I was like, that doesn't make sense at all. This is literally all business. So ended up sending them the documents for the business, and that's how they came back at only $250. Originally, when I had
only $250,
I say only because originally when I had implied, I had been a little more optimistic than I should have been about like my projected revenues, things like that for the business. And so when they give out lines of credit, they're not like credit card companies, things like that, where they go based off of projected revenue. They go based off of what you can substantiate previously, like business money your business has brought in. So the way that it went is the first two vehicles I bought were those Nissan Rogues. Ended up paying those off within 9 months. When I went back to the dealership to continue buying vehicles, I had the conversation with the finance manager. Hey, I want to speak to someone. I want you to submit this commercial only in the business's name. They came back trying to tell me, oh, hey, you need to be PG'd, you need to be PG'd. Nope, absolutely not. Send it to a senior underwriter. They can call me. I'll go over whatever I need to, let them have whatever I want. So senior underwriter ends up calling me because obviously they want to approve the deal. He's like, hey, I know you're trying to buy vehicles. And so that's when I had the real candid conversation with him. I was like, hey, my intentions are over the next year, I want to purchase 20 vehicles. I don't want to have to go through this process every single time that I come in. I know that you guys have a division of your business where you'll give lines of credit for people that plan on buying a significant amount of vehicles within a short amount of time. I'd be interested in getting approved for a line of credit. So it was something that I physically asked for. And then literally the senior underwriter I talked to was like, line of credit? Like, no, we do auto loans, fixed rates. We don't do lines of credit. Like we're not a credit card company. And I'm like, hey, no disrespect, completely understand what you're saying to me. But I know that's not accurate. So then he goes, talks to his higher up or his pod of other senior underwriters and comes back. He's like, hey, dude, I just learned something new. He's like, I've literally never had anybody apply. I didn't know we had this offer. But I need a copy of your last 2 tax returns. I had to send them all my articles, all those things. You still sign a resolution document. But it was literally the same process as anybody would go through getting approved for just a regular auto loan, other than you do have to bring financial documentation for your business.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, one of the advantages that you had in that conversation, one, you were extremely confident because you know what you're talking about.
Yep.
It's like you know the industry and you know how to navigate and how to respond to these rebuttals. It's like, no, we don't do that. Yes, you do. And you were very respectful to a way that, when you responded, the person is not going to uh, become combative in the responses. Because if
Exactly.
you are a little cocky and disrespectful, that could really elicit some kind of attitude from the person you're talking to. So it's good to be respectful. And, like you said, respectfully, man, you know, that's not the case. And sure enough, if you're respectful, they're gonna go and find out and come back and say, hey, I was wrong. I learned something new today, which was exactly the case for some of the dealerships that I approached. They're like, man, I didn't know that was, and I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I wanted you to try.
Exactly.
So it's very interesting to know, also it's very important rather to know how to navigate, because again, when I went to the dealerships personally, I say, can you put me in contact with the fleet manager? A regular sales car person would not going to help me,
Right.
because they're so used and fixed with consumer credit that when at the sound of like business credit, they'll be confused and they'll tell you
Yep.
like, what are you talking about? No, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
So you have to be patient and polite enough and professional enough to educate them, because remember, presence and impression is a huge deal. You have to carry yourself. You're a business owner.
Yeah.
You're walking into these dealerships as a business owner, and you have to carry yourself as such.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing, which, it goes back to your point before, everybody, like when you were offered, hey, you can have this car, but you got to PG it. Of course, like you said, it was a learning moment for you. You're like, nope, absolutely not. I don't PG. My philosophy is I do not turn down somebody offering me money. Obviously, like if somebody's offering me a loan or something, I don't just apply for them if I don't need them. But when it comes to like an auto loan, things like that, any chance I have to strengthen a relationship with the lender, I take full advantage of it, because at the end of the day, no matter what anybody tells you, yes, computers make a lot of decisions when it comes to approvals, things like that. But there is always a person that sits in a seat that can override a computer decision. And like you said, if you're going to present yourself in a professional manner, like let's say you go into a dealership, they tell you something you don't like, you go out there and now you're acting ignorant, things like that. How do you think they're ever going to view you next time you want to do business, right? You go back to that dealership 6 months later, they're going to remember exactly who you are. So when you get denied by the bank, guess what they're not going to do? Pick up the phone to call the bank to ask for an exception, right? Because they know who you are. You call that bank, and let's say that the bank called you last time and you had an interview on the phone with the bank and they denied you and you're acting like a jerk on the phone. Well, guess what? Contrary to what people don't believe, you have an internal record at every single lender you've ever applied for credit at, to
Mhm.
where they have notes like, hey, declined
Mm.
future like literally, I don't care what anybody tells you. Every single bank has internal systems that keeps track of every single person that's applied for an auto loan, credit card, things like that. So when you call reconsideration lines, when you're calling customer support, if you are a trouble client or you're being disrespectful, things like that, like you're really messing yourself up. And like you said, that's one of the big things I'll say is entrepreneurs just at spirit, which I have to check myself on this all the time, is we want instant gratification, right? Like we want instant wins. We like, hey, we put in the work, we want to win right now. So then you go to the dealership and you don't get that win. And kind of like you said, so then people end up taking wrong steps just so they can go in the group and post a win, things like that. But your journey is not the same as somebody else's, right? There are people that I know that went and got business credit so much faster than me. When I first started applying and I got denied the first couple of times I tried to get business credit, I was like, well, hey, why are they getting approved? And then I had to remember, like, everybody's journey is different. And if we sit here and compare ourselves to somebody that keeps posting big wins in the group, then you're really just limiting yourself, because each time that you see somebody else post something, you find yourself resenting them a little bit more, resenting their success. And then when it's your time to go put in some action to make things happen, you're not as motivated. So that's just one of the really big things that I'll tell people: just stay in your lane, keep the blinders on, and just keep it moving. Nothing's ever that serious.
Man, if a lot of people could really apply what you said in terms of everybody's journey is different. I mean, I can do exactly what you did and get different results.
Yep.
All right. So you have to understand that everybody's journey is different. Figure out what are the things that you have to do in order for you to get the same results as you and I, right? God. And don't be disappointed, like you said, if I had to go to multiple dealerships. And I tell you, when I got approved for the first three cars that I told you, it wasn't even something I was expecting. They called me. Nissan called me on the phone, and they're like, "Hey, are you? Is this WNK Capital? That's my business." And I'm like, "Yeah." Are you in the market for for vehicles? I'm like, "Yeah." How do you know? How do you? I'm like,
Yeah. Who
"Oh,
told you?
I'm the sales manager here, blah blah." And would like to try. I'm like, all right, here's my information. I only gave him two pieces of information, mind you. At this point, I haven't even given him my name. I say, here's my company's name and here's my EIN. When you have an answer, just let me know. That's it. Those are the two pieces of information that I gave him. He went to work. You know why? When I met him, right? Because he say, hey, are you sitting? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. He's like, you were approved for three cars. I'm like, all right, when can I go?
Yeah.
He's like, come by, sign the documents, and we'll have the cars delivered to your house. Um, but this is the thing. It's like he knew what he was doing. When I met him, he said, "Oh, I have a business myself, and I do, I know about business credit." So that really saved me a lot of time. And it's the opposite as you and I were talking about when somebody doesn't know. And I think the best route is to find somebody that is in fleet management or fleet manager or something like that they are familiar. I'm not saying that all car salesperson doesn't know about it,
Right.
but most of them, they're just so used to consumer credit that they would not have a clue, and they'll say like, oh no, that cannot be done, you have to personal guarantee it.
Yep. A lot of them, and a lot of that time, it comes from, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so
Hmm.
like those sales reps, a lot of times they like the path of least resistance, which, no disrespect to anybody in the auto business, it literally propelled my life and created this life that my family has. So anything I say, it's literally no disrespect to anybody still in those industries. But when they hear somebody come on to the lot and they're ready to sell a car, and you say something like, hey, I want to finance this in my business name, to them, they think this is this super complex deal that A, might take forever to happen, and then B, like might not even be able to happen. So in their mind, the path of least resistance is to say, hey, nope, we can't do that, or nope, we don't do that here, right? And for me, the way I like to approach it, if I ever hear that, because there are still people in town that you hear that. Luckily, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, so there's a lot of big dealerships, so a lot of them have commercial. But when you hear the people say no, the way I like to try to kind of turn it in flip it in their eyes, like, man, dude, y'all could make so much more money and sell so many more cars if y'all knew how to do commercial lending. Because truthfully, it is a big business piece of business for any dealership. And imagine you be the client that taught them how to now start getting commercial business, right? Literally, anytime you walk in the door, they're going to bend over backwards to do anything that you need.
Hey, yeah, exactly. So, look, you mentioned something that you got. You say you have four vans, right?
Yep.
And so you have those four vans. I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry the info. I know there's some info that
Sure.
you like to keep concealed. So feel free to let me know. So you have those vans, and you hire people. So you offering that business service to Amazon, but you hiring people to handle the vans.
Correct. Yep. I have drivers, pool of drivers that drive the vans to make deliveries.
That's crazy. That is also a great business idea. You know.
Is honestly
Um,
it and it's something I never even would have thought of if I hadn't realized how much business credit, specifically auto lending business credit, like was such a big game changer. Once I realized that, I'm like, man, well, what other industries, what other things out there require an automobile, right? And so the things, a rental, so Turo, that was a no brainer. Next one, I'm like Amazon, right? Like I've literally had people pull up to my house and they're like, you know, in their personal car, like pulling out packages. And I'm like, okay, so this is something a regular person can do. How do we do this on a large scale? Right. And so, like, for me, they're all 1099 contractors. So I don't have any employees. I'm not paying any employee tax, anything
benefit.
like that. Like, they're all 1099. They don't
Yeah.
have to worry about, like, hey, what if my vehicle breaks down, or what if I'm putting miles on my personal vehicle, because they get to drive my vehicle for work. Something I'm working on right now, which this is something other people I'd encourage to look into as well, is buying like smaller compact cars and then like leasing those out to people so they can do like DoorDash, Uber Eats, different things like that, right? So essentially, they're renting the car from me so they can go out there and make money doing those things. So that's something I'm working on right now, and that's what that second entity that has the vans. That's what that's going to also be a leg of.
Hey man, I gotta link up with you after this because, uh, as you may or may not know, there are some seasons in Toro that they're very slow, man.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
oh
Like,
yeah.
and you, regardless, I know you have some of your cars paid off already, but for those cars that you still have that they're not paid off, the season may slow down, but the payments they remain constant.
Exactly. Yep. I don't get to tell the bank, hey, we didn't cover it this month.
Yeah, so you have to make those payments anyways, and insurance and stuff like that, registration and whatnot. I would like to link up with you because I want to put some of my SUVs up for this Amazon business because it's a good experience. I know the people are making good income with that, and I
Yes,
would like to pick your brain on that, man.
absolutely.
Someone asked here about trade lines. I'm gonna leave you let you lead that one in
Sure.
terms of trade lines. Let me see what's the name of the person. I have to go to Facebook. Brian Smith. He's asking how many trade lines do I need to have reporting to get started?
Sure. So I've got a framework that I go based off of 100% of the time. Anytime I start a new entity and I want to go for funding, which everybody obviously knows the layers. So a lot of this will sound redundant to people, but this is just reaffirmation that yes, that's the right path. Layer one is going to be your Quill, Uline, Granger, Nav Boost, and then I also use CEO Creative. So no matter what, those are always my layer one. Layer two is going to be Home Depot, Rexel, the Shell Fleet Navigator, Circle K, AutoZone, and then Floor and Decor.
Yeah.
So, and this is 100% of the time. So I don't deviate from this ever at all. If I get denied for one of these trade lines, I'm not moving to that next layer until I get approved for that trade line. Layer three, that's Lowe's, Fuelman, BP, Divvy, and Topago. Another kind of tip that I'll throw out there to people is something that I don't want to say that people could abuse. But it has to be used tactfully. Is if you have fellow business owner friends and fellow entrepreneur friends, they can report history about your business to Dun and Bradstreet. So a lot of times they're not actual trade lines, but those reportings and those notes and things still show up on that report when a lender pulls it, right? So like for me, I've got a circle of entrepreneurs that are in many different industries, and so what we'll do is we'll report a trade line to each other's business. We'll send that info over to Dun and Bradstreet, and so it adds like in my opinion, it's a little extra, right? Like a little extra note, a little extra something onto your report. So when somebody pulls it, they see, okay, cool. Well, he's also got these other businesses that he's in good standings with as well. So that's one thing I'll note that also I think does play a tremendous part. So to count those out, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's 16 trade lines reported. And then my additional ones through other entrepreneurs.
Look, I did that a few times with the credit builder from Dun and Bradstreet, and that is a genius idea. Okay,
Yep.
it's brilliant. I talk to a few of fellow business owners, and I say, hey, would you mind reporting this line of credit for me? And I'll say, okay, this is the amount, and I will create an invoice, right? I will create an invoice as if that was the invoice they provided for me.
Yep.
So, and again, this is all done in a very ethical way, right? This is done ethically, and like you say, you have to be very tactful with that. But I did that, and those steps really propelled my business to get approved for other things. It's very important, man, that you are in good standing with people of a community like our
Yep.
group. There's no need to be rude. I mean, I see these jokers on the group just posting things, and their bravado is like they think that's gonna take them far, and unfortunately, that's not gonna, especially in business, especially
Especially,
in business.
yes.
Yeah. So, like you said, that is true, man. Like these people that you're talking to on the phone, that is true, man. They are really take those notes. They're gonna take those notes and say, "Hey, this person was extremely rude, combative, and really arrogant." So, are they going? They're gonna have those notes, man. When you come back, remember that you're dealing with money. They're giving you their money.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be tactful with that. You have to be careful. And also, I want to come back to the trade lines. A lot of people they look down on the trade lines that you mentioned. And for my businesses, I've gone through all the same trade lines, and I'm very impressed the fact that you said I'm very constant on these steps. You say if I don't get approved for this, I'll move to the next layer, and that's consistency, and that's bulletproof. Because if you worked in the first business, why would it not work in the second, and the third, the fourth business? Speaking of which, though, another thing is that w- how do you feel about people creating multiple businesses and creating business credits for them?
I feel so. Me personally, I'm a big like business credits, like what I do, even outside of like the auto loan thing. So me, I'm a huge proponent of leveraging business credit. What I'm not a big proponent of is over leveraging yourself via business credit, right? So like if you don't have a need for a second entity, if you don't have a need for that funding that you're going to get with that second entity, don't go out there and just get credit to get credit, because as everybody knows on the personal side, you screw yourself over. Like it's way harder to bounce back from something negative happening than it is to like, just start off and build up to that point. Business credit is 20 times more difficult because they don't have consumer laws. They don't have laws protecting us as individuals. So
Mhm.
you make a misstep on your business that you opened up because you had this great idea or you wanted more money, and you mess up on that execution, like you're pretty screwed on that. So so it's kind of, I kind of contradict myself when I say that. So I feel great about people using business credit if they have a use for it, and if like they have a goal in mind and a mission, right? Like people shouldn't just go out there, start a business just to get business credit to then go and blow it in their personal life and like do things like that. Like, no, absolutely not. That's irresponsible. But you got an idea or you've got a business and you need to 10x it, you need to scale it or grow it. there is no faster or better way to do that than through business credit, in my opinion.
100%. I agree with you. One of the things that I'm being careful with when I'm creating businesses is that there are people creating businesses to just ge- uh, create business credits for those businesses, but they're funding that business credit with personal money.
Right.
So, what can I tell you? At the beginning, when I started my first company, I was against that. Really, I didn't find that it made sense. And then I started my second company, and I make sure that that company was also cash flow positive in order for me to be able to. What I did was is that the first business I have several branches that I was doing, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna separate, I'm gonna branch out, I'm gonna create another entity that's gonna handle this branch of the business specifically.
Right.
So unless like you're going to have major benefits by creating an extra business that is not yet generating any revenue, then I will say to stay away from that because it's counter interact. It's backwards. Like just creating a business that is not generating money to put of your own money. That's my 2 cents on that though. But everybody thinks differently and they're gonna
Right.
do whatever they want. Are you also working with personal credit?
Yes. So, um, on the personal credits, I own a credit repair company. And so kind of to back up a little bit more than that, and this isn't a pitch or anything like that. Like, I have a business credit mentorship where I teach people how to access business credit, typically 0% business credit through credit cards.
Yeah.
Um, that's something completely irrelevant to that. Part of that process, you have to have your personal credit optimized because that is only PG business credit. So what I teach in that is only PG business credit. So the backbone of that is optimizing and making sure your personal credit is on point. So yes, I do personal credit and then also business credit, um, as like the precursor to that.
Yeah, no, and again, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, is that you're going to leverage bigger deals with personal guarantee applications.
Absolutely.
I've missed out on line of credit of 250,000 in line of credits for the business because of that, because my credit is not as optimal as it should be. And I don't know if you read my yeah, you probably read my post.
Absolutely.
I haven't been lucky, man. I understand this is it's not an overnight process. It's not, you know what I'm saying, it takes
Oh,
time.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm patient, man. If I have to wait, but that company that I told you that I posted, they I paid $1,300 and I didn't see nothing in 4 months.
That's
So and
insane.
then you see these people commenting and saying, "Oh, well, what do you think that you're gonna get results overnight?" I'm like, "What part of 4 months
4
is?"
months overnight, that ain't overnight, but I mean, 4 months, something should have happened in 4 months, man. That's yeah, that's
I should have seen something like a. They did like a two. I think they were in their third round of letters, and I'm like, man, something must be wrong with my credit.
no, man, it's one of those things, and I'm not never gonna bad talk anybody's business. That's my, like, number one rule. But as an industry in whole, what happens is there's companies, people out there that tell you, hey, you can start a credit repair business, make a ton of money by starting a credit repair business. So people find out, hey, let me go start a credit repair business. Let me just send these letters. So they signed up for a software and they're just using letters that are pre-built in that software and like sending those out. And yeah, you can get lucky and have results that way. But if you like truly want to be successful, you have to understand consumer law, because that's really the game changer. The template letters are literally nothing. If you know consumer law and how to hold like credit bureaus and creditors accountable, that's the game changer, because it's not a back and forth saying, hey, this account wasn't mine, I want to dispute this account. Then they're like, hey, they verified this account, right? Like all that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If you identify, hey, you're not compliant in the way you're reporting this, or hey, you are violating my rights, this is the right, or this is the code that you're violating, fix it. You've got X amount of days to fix it. And then follow up when they don't respond in that many days. You escalate the language. hey, you didn't respond. This is the letter that I sent you. You now have 14 days to respond, or I'm filing suit. Like, credit repair is not difficult, but it's people don't want to spend the time to learn how to do it the right way before they go out and advertise a business, right? Like in 4 months, something should have accidentally fell off, right? Like if they were doing it right, something would have, like they'd have got lucky in 4 months. So that's why
Something.
it's one of those things where there's so many bad apples. That's why when people post things like that in groups, I'm like, man, there's gonna be 40 other people in the comments like, oh, hey, come to us, we'll come to us, we'll do it. And I'm like, man, I never want to be the person that like it's in groups seems like they're selling their services and things like that. Because for me, I let results speak for themselves. So like my business is 95% referrals and like people that have done business with me sending people my way because they know the results. Because I'm not the guy that's gonna put a commercial out on Facebook or put an ad out like, hey, come get your credit fixed, because that's going to bring me clients that I don't want, which are people that want unrealistic things, right? People that saw an ad by somebody else saying, hey, I'll sweep your credit in 2 weeks, you'll have perfect credit, right? So they're comparing me to those people, and I don't want to deal with people like that. So that's why mostly I go off of affiliates and referrals. But there's a million nightmare stories of people getting burned in credit repair, and I literally cringe every time I see it because I already know what's going on behind the scenes.
Man, I tell you, man, it's so bad because I know there are people out there that they're generating results, man, but there are some bad apples that have, tarnished really the reputation of good credit repair companies.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, and then that's why, like, and I was gonna ask you, like, take me on, man, but I don't think for what you already said, you're not taking everybody as a client. I was gonna tell you, like, take me on, man, fix my
No,
credit, and
I
then
want to take you on just so I can change your perception of it, so that I like that's literally like I like the challenge. There's nothing I enjoy better than when somebody has had a bad experience and they come to me and they're like, this is gonna be the same thing. You're gonna waste my time. I'm gonna waste money, and they're like real cautious and like real standoffish, and then they start getting results because those are the people I'm like, hey, yo, go back to that post you put. Let's see that energy, the same energy you had that when you were upset with that other person. Let them know who got you right, right? So it's
man,
yeah,
if I tell you, look, take me on, and I guarantee you, I'm gonna be your biggest advocate, your biggest fan on the group. I'm gonna promote you until you hate me and say, shut up, I have too many clients, don't promote me
hey, let's
anymore.
do it. Hey, more
um,
clients means I get to employ more people, so let's do it.
that's definitely, man, I like that mentality, man. I like that mentality. um I think, again, I'm gonna keep drilling on this, is that when we exist in community, man, we treat each other with respect. And I'm gonna tell you, man, if you come to the group and you try to be a clown, I'm gonna put you in your place, because I'm from New York. I don't take that. I
Yeah,
don't I don't take that. So if you're gonna come disrespecting, and you're gonna be a clown, I'm gonna, like, tell you off. And then if you continue to be a clown, I'm gonna just ban you from the group. That's
yep,
it. You're gonna be banned. But I've always been a fan of being, respectful in the community that you're getting so much benefit, man. I mean, this group, bro, like, all these people are getting approved for cars, and they're not paying for that information. And I will not charge for that information. I
absolutely
refuse
not.
to it. You know, I've been trying to find a way to monetize the group, but I refuse to exploit the membership.
Yep,
I refuse to do it, man. So I rather, like, for instance, if you help me with my credit, I'll let you promote in the group. That's why, because I'm seeing the results. I'm not about, like, promoting someone because they're paying me, just
right,
because
exactly.
you know what I mean.
Yep,
So yeah, man, I I'm so excited, man. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen, because I know you're gonna help me, man. And
absolutely. We're gonna get you right.
yeah, and I'm grateful that you took time today, man, to show up in this live stream. There's a lot of people, so many questions, and I like your contribution in terms of, like, hey, look, you have to have a map, like a plan. You cannot be aimlessly, like, applying for stuff. You have to have a plan. Like, tier one, apply for these companies. Tier two, don't apply for anything until you get tier one right.
Exactly.
Get straight and then apply for the next tier. Don't move up until you master and get approved for all that. And secondly, you have to have a budget. Okay, how
Yes,
much do you want to be reported to your business credit, and can you afford that? Just choose a budget that you can afford, because all you need is this reporting to be happening behind the scenes in your business credit, and you'll be all right.
exactly. Exactly. That's the one of the big things where people, I think, in my opinion, fail the most is trying to overextend themselves too fast. And kind of to reiterate my point of where like I have hard stops where like I don't move on to the next one because in my mind, if I applied for the next one and they denied me, how do you think you're going to slip by a bank when it comes to apply for an auto loan, right? Or when you want to go get a $50,000 credit card, like you're not going to slip through them, right? If you couldn't get past floor and decor, right? Like, so that's why it's super important not to skip steps. And like you said, the biggest one is not over leveraging yourself, right? Like, don't overcommit to things, right? If you can't afford a $600 net 30 bill, don't go and create a $600 net 30 bill because all you're going to do is hurt yourself. You're
Mhm.
better off creating a $150, $200 one. Do that 3 different times than you are to like hurt yourself by not being able to pay that one back in the 30 days at 600.
That's exactly right. Overcommitting yourself and going over your budget is absolutely detrimental to your business, because once that negative report comes in, it's going to hurt 90% of the next reports. Daenerys, thank you so much for tuning in. Reach out to me or to Jay if you have any questions on business credit. We'll answer any questions you may have, including like if you're trying to get any vehicles.
Absolutely.
Again, Daenerys, thank you for tuning in. Where do we go after? Let me pose this question. Where do we go after tier three? I'm trying to get business funding. You want to take on that one, Jay?
Sure, absolutely. So once you've done tier three, you've completed tier three, which this is, I'm saying it again because I don't ever just want to assume that means you've completed fully tier two, you've completed fully tier one. At that point, you are at a place where your business is fundable. Now, that doesn't mean now you're going to go out and automatically get $100,000 car or you'll be able to get $100,000 loan. But at that point, you decide, hey, because you said you need business funding, right? So do you need an auto loan? Well, now you're at a place where you can go start shopping auto loans for the business, PG or non PG. Do you need credit cards? Well, now you're at a good place where your business has good things reporting to where you can start exploring credit cards. So the short answer to your question is after tier three, now you're fundable.
Yeah, that's completely right. And remember, one important point, and I know that Jay feels the same, and that's why you have a group of you're mentoring people on personal guarantee only. Okay, and I know that behind that, if you don't, in order to get to the point that to do personal business guarantee only, you have to have your personal credit in order.
Yep.
So, to your point here, if you don't have your personal credit in order, it's going to be hard for you to get funding, from banks and companies. Okay, remember that these fundings, some of them happen without a personal guarantee, very rarely, but
Right.
85, 90% of them, they have to do a personal credit thing. In some cases, it's not. I think it's a hard pull in all the cases, depending on the amount that you're looking for.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that's a common misconception that people have is that like once you build these tiers up, that doesn't mean like now you're going to go out and you can get no PG like loans for 50, 100 grand, like, or credit cards for super, super high limits. That's not what that means, but it helps you whenever you're going to go get something that has collateral put against it, right? So like an auto loan has something physical, tangible that they can come take if you don't make your payments. Once you're done with tier three, you're able to go start getting credit like that. One thing I always tell people, because a lot of times, from my experience, people want to start doing business credit because their personal credit might not be where it's supposed to be. Well, while you're building up your layers, that's the perfect time to start working on your personal credit. So that way, once you're done with that layer three, hey, I can go get vehicles in my business's name. Cool. But hey, I just had this really great idea, or I want to go run Facebook ads, or I want to do this, I want to do that. But I want to do it through business credit. Now your credit's optimized. Imagine like how much more powerful you are and how much more leverageable you are if after layer 3 is done, your personal credit's also optimized. Now there's literally not a bank in the world that'll tell you no. Now banks are begging you, sending you letters in the mail. Hey, apply for this business loan, apply for this business credit card, right? And to me, those things are fulfilling. I'm like, yeah, you want my money. Yeah, you want my business. Because at that point, you've got all the leverage, as opposed to the way that people typically do it, where like they're applying to all these places, hoping that somebody just gives them a chance. And then somebody does. And now you got a 30% loan, right? Like it's just not favorable terms. So definitely always want to work on getting that optimized while you're building those layers.
Yeah, and man, you save so much money having your credit in order because you're the interest rate, like you said, if your credit is not good, man, you're gonna get like 18, 25, 30%
Um,
interest. It's insane. It's insane. Whereas if you have a good credit, imagine having 7%, 6%.
exactly, exactly. And people look at it in the short term because they look at like, okay, well, hey, my payment is only $30 difference at 8% versus 9.5%. Right. And like if you look at it short term, yep, but that's an employee mentality, right? Like that's not a business owner mentality. To me, I'm like, okay, $30 per month, that's money that I could have back into my business that I can be using. Like that's revenue I'm missing out on. So once you shift your mindset and your relationship like with money, it changes the game completely. And that
100%.
helps you like in business. Once you've gone through the steps of optimizing your personal credit, getting that stuff fixed, you now have more of an appreciation of it, right? Because a lot of times people end up with bad credit because they were like me, grew up where family told you, no, what do you need credit for? That means you're in debt. That's bad, bad, bad. So then I turned 18, 21, and now somebody wants to give me a credit card. And in my mind, okay, cool, I got $5,000 I can go blow, right? Like not realizing like, hey, you need to pay that back and then you can't afford payments. Like that's how we get into that trap. And that's why, in my opinion, that's why they don't have like financial literacy in schools, things like that, because banking is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Like once you come back from like having bad credit, which no matter what, anybody watching this, I don't care if you're a 380 credit score, I promise you your credit can come back from where it's at. Because a lot of people, they see that, they get discouraged, they're like, man, I'm screwed, I'll wait 7 years. But I promise you, you can come back from that, and it's not as hard as you think. And once you do come back from that, like literally your entire outlook on money, finances, credit, banking, everything changes, because at that point you realize like how much power you have when you have that 700 credit score where you can buy anything in the world. You never have to go into a dealership where they tell you, hey, I know you came in and you wanted this Pathfinder, we couldn't approve you on that, so here's the Sentra, right? Like it happens all the time. But like people with excellent credit, they go into a dealership, can't nobody tell them nothing. You know what you want, you know what payment you want, and as long as the math makes sense, they're going to make it happen because the ball's in your court.
Oh man, that's so powerful. I mean, when you say with that conviction, man, even I got excited. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
Like,
telling you,
man,
this is my thing, man. Credit, I'm this because there's just so much misinformation, and I'm like, yo, it's not meant to be that way. Like, it doesn't have to be that way.
yeah, no, I hear you, man. And for somebody like me, exactly that's why those words they mean so much because I've tried so many times to have somebody to help me. But I know, like you said, I know there are people out there, companies providing good results. Not all companies are created equally. And
Right.
I know there are good companies out there that they provide results. And again, the only reason I'm mentioning this company that I stayed with them 4 months is because they promised me that in 60 days that I will get results.
That's the biggest red flag. Anybody watching this right now, if a company promise you that you will get results within a specific timeline, they are lying because it is impossible to determine, because the credit bureaus by themselves are such a big variable that it is impossible to guarantee something will be removed by a certain date unless they're doing something illegal, which that's a whole nother combo we're not going to get into. But anytime somebody guarantees you, hey, your credit will be fixed within a certain amount of time, that's a big red flag. Just anybody listening, if they tell you 30 days, 60 days, that's a big, big red flag.
That's a huge red flag, and to me, that's the only thing that turned me off. And I reach out to them and say, "Hey, it's been a few months. I mean, I haven't seen anything. Oh no, we're going to give you an update now in July. I'm like, no, no, never mind. Yeah. Okay, Jay. So I have another question here. If you
Absolutely.
can say again the lines, the trade lines that you start and how you move up. I mean, somebody's asking there, and if you don't mind saying those lines again, those trade lines.
Absolutely. And what I'll do is I'll also post it in the group as well afterwards.
Perfect.
All right, pulling up my list here.
Yeah.
Layer one is going to be your Quill, Uline, Granger, Nav Boost, and CEO Creative. So that's layer one. Layer two is going to be Home Depot, Rexel, Shell Fleet Navigator, Circle K, AutoZone, Floor and Decor. And when I post it in the group, I'll post it with like the exact, because some of these do offer multiple ones. I'll post it with the exact ones that I use every time.
Yeah.
And then layer three is going to be Lowe's, Fuelman, BP Business Solutions, Divvy, and Topago.
Perfect. Man, that's helpful because there are some people in the group, and what we post this information all the time. Some people don't want to research information, but it's good to have it on this live stream, and people are asking for it. Again, Jay, thank you so much. I want to link up with you. I know today's Sunday, so let's keep in touch. I'm gonna drop you my phone number on the messenger so we can text or talk anyway, and so we can get started with my credit. And also, if somebody wants to speak with Jay about no PG business credit and only PG business credit, and also if you want to do your personal credit, reach out to Jay. He's on the group. If you want to definitely reach out to him there, let him know directly. Jay, thank you so much. If you want to say anything to close.
No, just don't get discouraged, guys. Absolutely. And that's really my biggest thing. I see so many people getting discouraged, so that's all I'll really say. Just don't get
Yeah.
discouraged, no matter what your current situation is. 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, your life can literally be changed. It's just all about putting the steps in, and in your path, you will have situations that pop up that'll make you want to throw in the towel, right? Like, just things happen, but just be persistent. And I promise you, there's so much money out there to be made, guys. Like, let's go out there and get it. I'm here to help literally absolutely wherever I can. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jay. You have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I appreciate
Thanks.
you, man. I'll reach out to you.
All right, man. Peace. Everybody be
All right.
safe.
Bye. Hey guys, there were other people that I wanted to bring in the live, but I don't know. They haven't reached out to me. Um, I don't know if these people are still, they're still in the group. Um, Guys, feel free to like the video and share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube. If you want to, we want to reach out, to other people. Also, again, there were a few people that we wanted to invite to this live stream. And if you guys are available, please let me know, drop a comment, and then I will go ahead and invite you as well. Jay Reeves, he's a member of the group, and he just dropped amazing information, amazing value on this live stream, just talking about his experience, the things he's doing, how many cars he's gotten. He's gotten 9 cars, 5 under one business and 4 under another business. And he's a valuable can't even say that word, a valuable member of our group. And if you want to reach out to Jay, reach out to him, send him a DM. If you want to work with him, if you want him to help you build your business credit and clean your personal credit. Note how I said clean and not build your business credit, because there are different things. Clean your personal credit, rather. It is my pleasure. Of course, I put this live specifically for you, Zabrok. You're gonna kill me. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm gonna call you Zab. How's that, Sabro? Seems like Nissan is a good brand to start with, as well as Ally. You know what? That's a good assessment because both me and Jay, we we started with Nissan, so that's a good start. So um, let me know if you need any help with that. You can reach out to me or to Jay. I know that we can definitely help each other on the group. I'm trying to have this group and turn everyone into a winner. I know we can win together. Z, that's perfect. Z is very short and easy, short and sweet. I like it. All right, so Amazon delivery. Yeah, that was very interesting what Jay said about Amazon, and I want to put some of my cars just to rent it out or actually provide that service to Amazon with my cars and just hire a driver. Just hire a driver and they'll get to drive my vehicles and deliver the packages for Amazon, and I get to get paid and pay them as well, right? Just pass on the wealth. Z, is the goal to also show business capital in your bank account as well? Z, can you elaborate a little bit on that? I'm not sure if I understand your question. Is the goal to also show business capital in your bank account as well? Show it to who? If you can elaborate a bit more, Z, on that, that would be awesome. Guys, I want to bring somebody else right now on the live who was approved for business vehicles under their business for funding in the near future. Oh, yeah. Z, that's a good question because every institution that you apply for a business loan, they want to know what's your cash flow. Okay, so they're gonna ask you for the what should I call it? They're gonna ask you for the last three statements of your business bank account, and they just want to see what's the cash flow like in your business, and that's gonna determine really how much they can lend you. If your business is cash flowing $40,000 a month, I don't think they'll be able to, let you borrow $1 million or $500,000. Let me see another question here. Z is saying, I love the question, Z. Keep them coming. My business is very profitable because I'm a single member LLC, but I have a 1099 employee, and I realize I may be paying him more than I should. Hmm. Um, I don't want to sound discouraging, Z, but when 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 LLCs are a single member, sometimes you have a little hard time, a little more of a hard time trying to get funding because underwriters they want to see that you're a multi-member LLC rather than a single member LLC. Does that make sense? So, hmm, what I recommend to you that when you form an LLC, if you want to make it a multi-member, you can have another LLC being a member if you don't have a person to put. Let me explain. So if you are forming your LLC and you're putting yourself as a member, okay, managing member, your second member to be multi, you only need two members. So the other member, it can be your another LLC that you own. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not confusing you. So that turns it automatically into a multi-member LLC. Because you already have this company created, I don't think that you may be able to amend your what should I call it? what you get from the Secretary of State, your articles of organization. You'll be able to amend them and add another member, and that member could be another LLC that you own. You can form that LLC if you don't have it, and then now you have a multi-member LLC. I hope that makes sense. Z, let me know if you have any questions. I wonder if we need to be based in a major city to do Amazon delivery services. Um, well, I think Amazon is pretty nationwide. Wherever, if in your state they don't have Amazon delivery, that's a good question actually. Huh? That's a good question. I was gonna say something dumb like I'm sure that Amazon is in every state, but that may not be the case. But they are like in pretty much a majority of the states. I don't think they have to be only like major cities. All right. Well, I wanted to again bring somebody else to the live just to share, um, other things. So I wanted to share other things and other perspectives from other members, who members of our group, our Facebook group, who have been approved for business vehicles loans. We have almost 30,000 members, and a high number of them, I'm not going to say thousands of members, probably a good 15, 20 members have been approved for vehicles under the business without personal guarantee. As far as I can read, they said they've applied through a Vroom, but most of them have one thing in common, and is that they have been approved with Ally. So Ally is the company now that is providing most of the business loans. I have 5 cars with Ally. Two have 5 with Ally, and I believe I have shoot. I think I have 5 with Ally, and 6 or 7 with GM Financial. Yes, Z. You can definitely. I have, as a matter of fact, I do recommend that you don't put your name under your company. That you will be just a manager. Okay, you can put yourself when you're creating your company in the Secretary of State. I wouldn't recommend you putting your name as an owner or whatever. I will suggest that you do 2 LLCs owning that company. So that what that does is that send people through a loop, because of course when your name it's in there, it's more liability, right? So it's more liability, but you send people through a loop. And in terms of like asset protection, that's even better, because lawyers are very creative when it comes to pin a liability to a person. They know that if they pin it to a company, that's not going to damage you personally. But if there's a name attached to the company, they're very creative to find ways to trick the law and pin that liability on you, or a lawsuit, or whatever happens in your business. So that's why I advise people to have your business be owned by another entity, or a multi, if you want to make a multi-member, like is your case, Z, to have more than one entity owning that business. That way is asset protection. Not only that, but also it protects you personally. Yeah, Ally is pretty famous when it comes to vehicle loans. What else? You don't need to be in a majority. Yeah, but if you're within 45 to 50 miles from distribution. That's true because with Amazon Prime, when they want to deliver something the same day, that's a big help too. Guys, how amazing is that? Huh? Jay came in and just gave us an idea of another potential income stream. By having some of your business vehicles working for Amazon. That's pretty neat, if you ask me. Do you teach freight dispatching? No, I don't do that. Astavia, Astavia. By the way, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us in this live stream. No, I don't teach that, but I'm sure that if you connect with Jay Reeves, the gentleman that we have here in the live, he can definitely help with that. He has more. He has more experience with that. Well, somebody responded there. Oh, Z. Z, do you teach freight dispatching or freight? I'm saying freight dispatching. Okay, it seems like Z is teaching freight dispatching. Z, I would like to learn more about that too. I would love to learn about that. Amazon Flex delivery isn't available near me, so that is why I was wondering if this delivery service was possibly available everywhere. Okay. Okay, guys. Again, if you wasn't able to come in when Jay was here, he was talking about how he has been approved for 9 vehicles under 2 of his companies. How he's utilizing his vehicles. He's doing Toro just like I am, but he started diversifying by putting other vehicles as well, doing Amazon delivery. And I love the way he does it. He provides the vehicles. He provides the service to Amazon, but he pays the drivers. So I love that. I would like to definitely do something like that. Um, so that's what he said. Now he mentioned about having a few tiers, starting with tier one with I think he mentioned as SEO, CEO Creative, SEO, CEO Creative, Granger, Uline, Quill. So he mentioned those four for tier one. Tier two, you can go with Home Depot, Lowe's, the gas cards, and so forth. And for tier three is when you can start like applying for the vehicles, funding, and stuff like that. Um, Z, I'm gonna reach out to you because I'm very interested. I was working with a company that they deliver medical specimens to hospitals here in my state. I was working for them with them for probably almost 2 weeks, but I didn't really like it. Now, if I could provide vehicles and drivers for those services, I will put my entire fleet to that because it's so beneficial. It's really good. Um, I definitely need to get my ducks in order. Ducks in order so I can purchase vehicles and put them on with Amazon. Z, you can. It's so doable. I'm not gonna say it's easy, Z, but it's so doable. So put your mind to it, and you can definitely do it. If you've noticed in the group, I mean, there's so many people that they've done it. So if you can do that, Z, just put your mind to it, and you can definitely do it. A lot of people are doing it. Um, yeah, no, the gas prices are insane. Gas prices are just, man. Well, I'm gonna tell you how I feel with the tour business. Think about this. If you have a number of cars. It doesn't have to be a number specific, and you have them on Toro. Remember that the person who rented the car has to return the car with the level of gas that they it first was before they rented it, right? If they don't do that, they are advised that you may charge for a refuel. You may charge a refuel fee. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is that you don't put a lot of money into gas on Toro because the gas, they have to refuel the vehicle, and if they don't, you charge them, and you show the receipt that you refuel, if you refuel them, and you charge them so you can get that money back. So I'm not too worried about gas with Toro, because again, I mean, with 12 vehicles, I don't put a lot of gas in any of them. I hope that makes sense. Um, Astavia, Astavia. All right, Z. I will definitely be reaching out to you to learn more about that. That's definitely something interesting that I want to get myself into. I'm very open, guys. My ears are always on the ground, just trying to come across good trends and business opportunities, and I will be definitely passing those on to you to create the same opportunities for you, because I refuse to keep any information to myself. I want to pass it on to you. That's why I created that Facebook group. That's why I created this YouTube channel, because I just want to share, information and help people who, are not doing really well financially, just to create a stream of income. Okay. All right, guys. I see nobody else wants to come online to talk about their experience with business vehicles. Thank you so much, TJ. What's going on, bro? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. I hope you catch the replay, the recording. We have some good information here. We've been here for almost 1.5 hours. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. I'm glad that this was helpful. Thank you, Z, for tuning in and for all the information. Astavia, thank you so much for tuning in. Who else was in here? Paolo. Um, who else was here? Priya. Jay, of course, who was with us, bringing some gold nuggets. Um, let's see who else was here. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. When I purchased experience credit monitoring, my score went from the mid 80s to the mid 60s overnight. Any thoughts on why and how I can? Yeah, I'm not sure what that happened to you, but it's got to be something that caused that drop. Now, don't get too fixated on your credit score, business credit score, because some people have been like in the 30s or 60s, and they have been approved for a lot of good accounts. So don't get a lot too fixated on that. Craig, thank you so much, man, for tuning in. Really appreciate you. You're very, very welcome. Thank you, Z. You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much, Astavia. Michael, what's going on? That's crazy, Michael. I assume, Michael, that it should go up within the next few weeks, because if that was due to you applying for the credit Experian credit monitoring stuff, it should come up then, because that shouldn't keep your credit score low, and it's specifically because it was like in the mid 80s. No, no, I didn't get them all with Ally at the same time. I got my first two were with Ally. The first two And they were with Nissan. So I went to Nissan, and apparently Nissan reached out to Ally. And then after those two, I got three more with GM Financial. And after I built that relationship with them, they gave me, I think it was six more cars, and then with GM Financial. And then, no, actually, they gave me 11 cars. GM Financial gave me 11 cars. No, they gave me, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I got the first two with Ally, and then I got about six with GM Financial, and then I got four more with Ally. Yeah, so that's the exact order. I'm sorry, there's just losing count. Yeah, that's so strange, man. I would not be able to tell you without looking at, take a look at your credits. If there were some increase, go to the notifications in Experian. Take a look at your increase. If there was many increase or stuff like that. I heard that inquiries don't affect your business credit though. Amy, majority of them were no PG, Amy, but some of them have to put, my personal information. Mind you, the cars are still under the business. You're just PG in them, right? It wouldn't affect your personal business unless you default on the loan. My pleasure, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for joining this live. What do you think about the sound? I just bought this bad boy here. So, what do you think about the sound? Uh, I think it sounds pretty cool. But in any case, guys, thank you so much for watching this live stream. Please go ahead and like on Facebook and YouTube. Leave a comment. This is gonna be still up, so if you want to add a comment after, that's awesome. So go ahead and feel free to do that, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for, yeah, it's a good, clear sound, very clear. I like it. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. See you soon. I'll be putting up another video on our YouTube channel, and this live stream is going to be recorded and posted on our Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. So thank you, guys. I'll see you soon.